Warm greetings to all of you ladies and gentlemen. Dear viewers, it's a pleasure to see you all this evening on the True Ghost Stories channel so that we can continue with the new details in episode 9 of the story about the Reburial from the Master Leon series of Strange Tales, Volume S by Kevin. Ladies and gentlemen, now please allow me to invite you all to join us away for the content in episode CH of a very good series. This, through the expression of Dean Shadow, it was past 9 p.m. in Phuong Bai village. At the entrance of the village this time, it was still Lan and Tran's shift. Tran lit a cigarette, took a long drag, then handed it to Lan. Take a puff too. Help you stay alert. Taking the cigarette, Lan also took a few drags, then looked up at the sky. At that moment, Lan was surrounded by thick smoke. Heard thunder since early evening, yet even now there's still no sign of rain. Starting to see more stars now, don't you find that strange? Looks like it's going to be scorching hot again. I thought it was going to rain, so I took the early shift. Smart move. You can't argue with the sky. Tran smirked. You scared, huh? The toughest guy in the village, and even he gets scared sometimes. If you were scared when Mr. Cam asked shift volunteers, why didn't you fake being sick like how did? Always going slow and gets all touchy. What the hell is Jean afraid of? The weather just seemed a bit strange, so I was curious, that's all. As for Mr. Cam's request, there's no way I could refuse. He's spoken up for me a few times. If it weren't for him, I guess I have to go to reform. Why? Say that? How could I refuse and make it seem like I was scared? So what? Everyone in this village these past few days, who hasn't been scared? People have been dying, one after another. 3 deaths in just 3 days. Tran flicked his cigarette, waved dismissively, and shook his head. Don't lump everyone together like that. Who's scared? Me? I've never been afraid of ghosts, you hear me. I'm hoping to see one sometime, to find out what ghosts really look like when they're lurking around. What year is it already, and people still talk about ghosts and spirits? Go up to the city and you'll see our and backward, but also superstitious. No wonder we stay poor. People die every day, that's nothing new. But hey, when I was a kid, I heard my grandfather used to tell me that back in the old days, there was an old tomb at Phuong Bai cemetery. They believed that indeed beneath that tomb, there was a great deal of gold, but no one dared to dig it up. Someone once just knocked on the tomb, spat blood and died. Lately, people have been dying constantly in the cemetery, and there are even people from other places. Don't you find that strange? Lan immediately asked. Strange? Of course it's strange, but what exactly are you getting at? Tran continued. I was thinking, could it be that those people who died were actually looking for gold in the cemetery? Hearing that, Lan clicked his tongue. What nonsense is that? That guy died because he was out at night hunting frogs, slipped and fell into Mrs. Van's grave pit. And that old fisherman who lived by the sea. Lan suddenly stopped, slightly mid-sentence. Lan recalled what happened earlier this afternoon. At that time, it was raining, and Lan was on his way to call Mr. Kam when he was drinking at home. Mr. Kam was walking near the bridge crossing over the canal heading to other side of the cemetery when Lan saw a hatless person, clothes soaked, walking unsteadily. He was about to cross to the other side of the bridge. Mr. Kam, where are you going? Lan asked sharply, jerking his chin. The person glanced up briefly, then continued walking onto the bridge. Lan said, he's not from the village. He ran over, grabbed the man's this again and said, who are you? Come on. It's banned on other side of the cemetery. Where do you think you're going? I'm going to look for gold. The man frowned, smiled, and looked up with a terrifying look in his eyes, then said sharply, looking for gold, crazy fool. Just as he finished speaking, the man punched Lan straight in the face. The punch was as strong as a sledgehammer, causing Lan to stagger and fall, hitting his head against the edge of the bridge, cracking his skull and knocking him unconscious. Back to the present. Lan is now sitting there blank-faced, was talking, then suddenly stopped. This made Tran think something was wrong with Lan, so he waved his hand in front of Lan's face. Tran called out, hey, what's wrong? You look like someone who's lost their soul. Lan snapped out of it and looked at Tran. Lan nodded and replied, it's nothing. I just remembered something. I think what that guy said wasn't wrong. That old man who died this afternoon. When I met him at the bridge, he said he was looking for gold. What if it's true? Absolutely certain. No doubt about it. Listen here. Remember, you and I have been close. since we were kids. I'm only telling you this because of that, but whether you believe it or not, then that's fine. But don't go blabbing to anyone else, alright? Lan hesitated and replied, is it something important that it has to be kept secret like that? Tran gave a slight smile. That's it. You don't have to listen if you don't want to. But I'll tell you know that Dan, your son, didn't go to the cemetery just to snoop around for frogs. Hearing that, Lan grew curious. What's going on? What do you know? Tell me. Tran immediately shook his head. To hear, you have to swear, and it has to be a deadly serious oath. If you break it, your whole family die. Because maybe later both you and I. Tran was a guy named Tran who really knew how to talk, how to persuade. With a few words, Tran had piqued Lan's curiosity to the maximum. Lan felt very uneasy. After thinking for a minute, Lan had no choice to agree to the deadly oath. All right then, fine. I swear I will not tell anyone what you're about to say. If I do, my whole family will die. Okay? Tran nodded and replied, good enough. Then he sat closer. Dan found gold out by the cemetery. Really? How do you know it's true? How could I not know? Old Kam brought the gold to my aunt's house to have her check if it was real or fake. He said that gold was passed down from his parents' time, so... But it wasn't a ring or gold jewelry. It was a raw gold nugget, about the size of a thumb joint, about the joint of the thumb. Although it was expected when my aunt looked closely, there was some dirt and crevices of gold. After she asked about it, he went straight home. Lan immediately asked, when did you ask him? Tran immediately replied, the day before Dan died. My aunt also said that on the day, he came to ask if the gold was real or fake. Before that, Mr. Kam and the district security, the gov visited Kam's home and said he was not let Dan go to the cemetery because the lady had spoken up. So the grave had gotten dirty, with Dan's handprints and footprints all over it. Yet that very night, he still let his son go out frog hunting. What? If it was to look for gold, then that makes sense, Lan continued. Both Mr. Kam and his son are dead now. Jumping to conclusions like that wrongfully accuses people. Who knows, maybe that gold belonged to Mr. What if it really was his? Tran fell silent, letting out a faint smile. A bitter one. Come on. That naive father and son of Mr. Kam. Just think about it. Mr. Kam has been sick for years. They didn't even have enough money for food. Whatever they had was spent on medicine. Even his son, a kid, had to struggle and work to earn a living. Money, and then suddenly he has a big lump of gold, so why didn't he use it earlier and only now brings it up? And if it was gold left by his parents, surely even he would know whether it's real or fake. So why would he need to ask someone else to check it for him? Only gold that's been found and has an unknown origin would need to be verified like that. After listening to Tran's analysis, Lan found it very reasonable. He couldn't argue with it. Who would have gold and wealth and not sell it, endure illness on his father and son to eat, living in poverty and hunger, whole village hungry? Who wouldn't know that? Lan nodded. That's true. But then what? What does that have to do with anything? To us? That you say we're about to have a change of fortune? Tran looked around to make sure no one else was there besides the two of them. Then, in a hushed voice, Tran said to Lan, I suspect that Dan didn't just find that one gold nugget. There might be other gold pieces, maybe even bigger ones that old Kam has hidden away. He only brought the smallest piece to ask about. But even just one piece like that is worth a lot of money. And if the gold is as big as a thumb joint, it's really heavy. My aunt said holding a gold nugget in your hand, if it weighs a few taels, then what? After asking, Lan suddenly jolted, startled, neck vein. This time, don't tell me you're planning to drag me to cemetery to look for gold. I'm begging you. Even if there really is gold, you've seen what happened to guys who went looking for it, haven't you? They all died. And that gold can't even be spent? Enough. Tran frowned and pulled Lan's neck down. Lower. Tran whispered, damn it. Are you stupid or what? I'm not crazy. I didn't say we're going to the cemetery. What I meant is that we're going to look for gold, but at the residence of Old Man Kam's house. The reason I just made you swear is because I want this to stay between just you and me. My aunt even sneaked over to his house this afternoon to look for gold at Old Man Kam's place. But while she was searching, Hao and his mother came over to burn incense for my aunt. She had to make up an excuse to clean up and sneak away. Old Kam is sick and has difficulty moving, both to sell the gold yet. And even if he did, he'd have to hide the money somewhere. Now I join you to Old Man Kam's house. Who knows? We might strike it rich. There could really be gold and money. His son and he are both dead now. They can't spend it anyway. No. To let people live, isn't it? Is good. Now Lan understood why. When Mr. Kam said he needed someone to keep watch and set up a guard post at the entrance of the village. Tran eagerly agreed. Right away. Turns out there was a reason behind it all. It's just that Lan still felt uneasy. Doing this felt like looting from Mr. Kam and his son who had just been buried. The grave soil hadn't even dried yet, and now they were sneaking over there for personal gain. At this point, Lan said, "Forget it, I'm not going. This isn't right." "That's not right at all, sir." Tran smirked. "Up to you. As for me, I'm going. I've already prepared everything I need. But hey, it's fine if you're not going. Just make sure you remember the oath we made earlier." "Oath? That's very sacred indeed." With that, Tran grabbed flashlight, plastic bag gloves, rubber gloves. Lan looked around. Now, only Tran could go. Lan was left sitting here alone. It wasn't 10 p.m. There were still 2 more hours left in the shift. After thinking it over, Lan stood up. "Wake up. Okay, let me go with you. But remember us. Agreement to find gold? Money then?" Tran smirked and nodded in agreement with a knowing look. "No big deal. Split it 50-50 it is. Gotta say, you're pretty sharp. Honestly, I was planning to go alone but without companions. Still definitely better than going with you alone." They left the guard post just before 10 Basjalan p.m. That night, Lan followed Tran. Each of them carried a flashlight, heading toward Mr. Kam's house. The road was pitch dark, their torches, the footsteps of the 2 young men. One couldn't tell whether to call them brave or reckless. The sound of frogs croaking loudly made Lan uneasy. Quickly catching up to Tran, Lan said, "Hey, it's the end of August. Why are so many frogs croaking?" "What a frog croaking?" Tran immediately clicked his tongue. "What a frog croaking is. It's business. It just rained. What's the point of calling?" "What? Why are you suddenly wondering about frogs? Or toads all of a sudden?" Lan replied, "Because I heard Mr. Comes and Mr. Tao's team telling my dad that on the day they pulled Dan's body up from the grave, while they were wiping down his body and limbs, suddenly a pitch-black frog jumped out of his mouth, from Dan's mouth. They were scared out of their wits. This PM, local security men said that something strange happened in the cemetery, anomalies involving frogs. I don't see it myself, but I heard that the corpse vomited up nothing but frog eggs. Damn it, just thinking about it gives me the creeps." Then Tran burst out laughing and said, "And yet you actually believe that? Those drunkards probably exaggerated it to scare people. As for me, I must see it, hear it, and feel it before I believe it. Ghost stories are everywhere, but there are things way scarier than what those guys talk about." The city, watching many Western horror movies lately, with murders and bodies piling up, gutting people, ripping out hearts. What are ghost stories for kids? Just some silly ghost tales to spook children. Lan thought what Tran said made sense. Lan asked, "Where did you watch movies? Hearing you talk about them gives me chills." Tran grinned proudly, with satisfaction. "I watched them on videotapes. I've got a whole collection with stuff. The guy's rich. TV, VCR, telephone, fridge. He's got everything. There's nothing missing in that house. But the best part is the VCR for watching movies, studio films, horror movies, and sometimes he finds some fruits. Those are wild to watch. Honestly, if we just stay holed up in this village even 10 years from now, we still won't know what a TV even looks like. So many people, but not a single house has a TV, let alone a VCR or DVD player." Lan immediately argued, "Hey, don't talk like you're looking down on your hometown. Who says there's no house in this village with a TV? Let me tell you, Old Suit's house has one already. A proper color TV, mind you, but that old hag, she's so stingy, she won't let anyone watch it. A few times, me and the village kids would sneak around, climbing the wall to peek through the window. That woman, damn it, not only did she shut all the doors, she even splashed water at us." "Speaking of Old Suit," Tran added, "that thieving medic woman is a different story. Earlier this evening, I rode my bike to her house and told her to come over to Bang Hao's place. And she chased me off like I was some kind of ghost. That, you greedy woman, today we spend money, she won't glance at you." "Hey," Lan continued, "she's not afraid to go out at night at all, now that she's got plenty to eat and money to spare, and no fear of death. What's there to be afraid of? If only we had known. A few years back, I heard she gave someone the wrong injection and killed them, yet she managed to cover it all up. Just looking at her face, I don't understand why she chose the medical profession, a doctor." Talking as they walked, in a short while the 2 young men reached a narrow dirt road and turned quietly into Mr. Kam's house. The road was slick with puddles of sludge. On both sides were abandoned fields, uncultivated and unplanted. Wild grass grew, thick and wild. The entire dirt road leading in had only Mr. Kam's house at the end. The closer they got to the shabby house, Lan hesitated more. Hey, maybe we should turn back. This place gives me the creeps. What if Mr. Kam checks and doesn't see you and me? What if I can't find you and me? Tran quietly replied. With the curfew in place now, no one dares to leave their house. Even Mr. Kam looked pale with fear. Earlier at Mrs. Howe's house, I saw him carrying garlic with him. So don't worry. In this whole village, only you and I are still awake. We've come this far. We have reached the point where there is absolutely no turning back. This is a decisive moment and our path is set. Was the altar. Tran shone the flashlight directly onto the spot the burner was placed. Previously, Mr. Kam's house only had one incense burner. Yesterday, after the burial of Mr. Kam and his son, the villagers added 2 more incense burners to place on either side. Usually, incense burners are usually accompanied by a memorial photo. But for the father and son, only Dan had a memorial photo because Mr. Kam had taken a picture of him earlier this year to submit for a poverty assistance application. At that time, Mr. Kam was sick with back pain that forced him to lie face down, so there wasn't any photo of him taken. As for his old ID paper, no one knows where Mr. Kam put it. So there was nothing to use for a memorial photo. Lan shone his flashlight. To the side, Tran turned directly toward Dan's altar. The black and white photo was simply framed in a wooden frame. The boy's face, with sorrowful, melancholic eyes, looked as if he was staring intently. Tran, hey Lan, shine the light somewhere else. Why do you keep shining it at the altar, huh? Why do I keep feeling like that guy? That Dan is staring at me or something, Lan said, his voice trembling. Tran pointed the flashlight into the corner of the room and snapped. What the hell? A memorial photo always looks like it's staring right at you, doesn't it? Search thoroughly. I already checked inside the cabinet. You look around the bed. Check all 4 corners of the bed legs, under the mat, pillows, blankets. Just saying. Got it? But what if Mrs. Tin already searched there first? Chan immediately replied. In the end, if she already found it, then why would she tell me anything? It's just that she hasn't found it yet. So she told me. I'm going to look for it now. She even said if she found it, she'd split it in half. Relatives, what good are they? Just taking advantage of each other. So you're going to give your share to her, huh? I'm not getting involved in this, okay? Last time, Chan just laughed reassuringly. You only get something if you actually do it to eat, like I'd ever share it with her. Even if I find it, said no. It's the witch. She's always spreading rumors, bad-mouthing my parents. Multiple times I haven't bothered to settle score yet. So much drama. Just focus on finding it. Already afraid of losing it quickly and get back. Chan and Lan nodded as if following orders. Lan searched around the 4 legs of the bed. He flipped up the mat, even crawled under the bed to feel around. Chan searched inside the wooden cabinet, termite-eaten. At the base of the cabinet, the 2 young men focused their eyes searching every tiny corner. But after nearly an hour had passed, they had not dug up a nugget, not even a bill, just some scraps of paper. Their hands and feet were filthy, sweat dripping all over, because all this time they kept standing up, sitting down, rummaging around, wiping their foreheads with the back of their hands. Lan, panting, said, Enough, that's it. Why keep looking? We've checked every inch already. What dog has gold? Just dig up the whole house. We still wouldn't find anything. Damn it. Why on earth? Suddenly I listened to her. Finished reading. Now I'm completely exhausted, you bastard. Lan widened his eyes, not daring to talk back. Because Lan wasn't wrong. In this house there wasn't a corner the 2 of them hadn't thoroughly searched. And there was no gold. Not even the money that woman Tin had mentioned. Chan slumped down to rest, then said, Damn it. Could it be that woman? She tricked me. What the hell? But when I heard her story, I thought it true. Unbelievable. You're tired, and so am I. Looking at the digital watch on his wrist, Chan sighed. Damn it, all for nothing. It's already 11 o'clock. All right, let's get out of here. I'm sorry. Tomorrow I'll give you the new set of clothes I just bought, okay? As an apology. And that summer t-shirt, no one else in this whole town has one like it. Lan asked again. Is that true, or are you tricking me? Chan clicked his tongue. It's true. We're friends. Why would I lie to you? About this whole thing, I was the one who got tricked too. My stepmother, Mrs. Tin, her nieces, nephews, she set me up fully. Just wait and see. As soon as he finished speaking, Lan and Chan got up together. Right as they were about to step outside the door and were about to close it, suddenly Chan stared intently back into the house. Then Chan just stood there. Lan patted him on the shoulder. What's wrong? Close the door so we can get out of here. What's wrong with you? Lan thought something was wrong with Chan, but suddenly Chan turned around, looked up, and gave a wicked smirk. Chan, feeling a sudden rush of urgency, shouted to those around him, Wait a minute. Please give me a moment to think. That sly smile, the look in Chan's eyes a bit dangerous. Lan was confused. Why are you smiling so creepily? Chan replied, Don't rush. There's still one place in this house we not searched yet. Likely the old man and his son. The gold is hidden there. It's night. We've been looking. Lan frowned. What are you even doing? Exactly. Where else? Anywhere can be found. Let's get out of here. Leaving now means we'll be less tired. Chan quickly grabbed immediately Lan's hand. Look carefully, he said, while carefully shining the flashlight toward Mr. Nam's altar. Just like when we first opened the door and stepped in, the light illuminated the area. Suddenly, the incense bowl reflected the light, catching the beam of the flashlight. Lan was startled. You crazy bastard. Why do you keep shining the light on the altar like that? Are you not afraid? He chuckled. Altar searched on the altar yet? It's very possible that the father and son, that old Nam, hid gold on the altar. Go. Search there too. It won't take much time anyway. Hearing what Chan said, Lan shuddered and grabbed Chan's shirt, trying to stop him. Hey, maybe we should stop. His father and son just died. And now you're rummaging through their altar. We can't do that. Let's get out of here. Chani immediately frowned. We've already gone through the trouble, an effort to come all the way here to search. Are we really going to leave empty-handed? If you're scared, then tonight, just hold the flashlight for me like that's enough. How can I carry it all? Just a few heads. A few minutes. Found anything yet? You check that part more thoroughly. Okay. Faced with Chan's persuasion, Lan gave in and followed along. They'd already started, so might as well push a bit further. Lan nodded. The two young men went back inside, heading toward the altar, where 3 incense bowls were placed. Earlier, they were too focused on searching to feel afraid. Time to be afraid. Now stand before the table, altar, viewing glowing red incense sticks stuck in 3 incense bowls with details. Lan felt a chill run down his spine. The sweat from earlier had completely vanished. Here, take this quickly. Hand the flashlight to Lan, Chan said. As he took the flashlight, Lan's hand trembled. Light swept up and down. Chan reassured him. Calm down, buddy. There's nothing to be afraid of. This is nothing. In the movies, they even dig up the tombs of kings. Hold it steady. Be careful. Let me search. Lan nodded. The altar of Mr. Nam's family altar was low, chest height. All the furniture in Mr. Nam's house was very old. The altar was no exception. Just a light touch and it creaked loudly. Chan reached his hand behind it, grabbing the largest incense stick. Hands behind catch biggest incense, okay? Placed right in the center, close to the wall. But he didn't find anything. As he searched, Chan muttered, Again. Why is there nothing? Lan kept moving the flashlight around. Chan reached out, searched the 2 incense bowls, brought them near, edge of the altar, right in front of his chest. What are you doing? What are you doing? Chan clicked his tongue and said, Be quiet, just what you're digging under that pile of incense sticks. This incense? Are you crazy? What do you think? Chan nodded, his eyes fixed intently on the incense pot. Chan checked 2 incense pots, both as well. Next to it are 2 new incense burners. But this incense pot with the incense sticks and its color faded to silver is an old one. If someone wanted to hide gold, a safe, unsuspected place. This spot is the safest and most unexpected. Poke it. Just go all the way. Go. Without another word, Chan grabbed a handful of incense sticks and pulled them out. Ash from the incense pot scattered all over the place. Dust filled the air in a thick cloud. Right after, Chan pulled bundle incense sticks out pot. Beneath the layer of ash, there appeared a thin cord, which is made of dull white nylon. With his fingertips, Chan gently grasped the cord. He slowly and carefully pulled the cord up until it emerged from the layer of ashes a small cloth pouch about the size of a thumb. Under the flashlight, even the naked eye could see inside. The cloth pouch were tiny lumps, clustered together beneath the layer of fabric. His eyes lit up. Holding the pouch in his hand, Chan smirked and said, "This is it. I was certain that I was right all along." At that moment, thunder rumbled in the sky. The sound of thunder echoed, signaling that a heavy rain was about to fall. Not only thunder, but even lightning flashed brightly, casting light into the house. Startling. Suddenly, Lan stammered, "We found it, so let's go." Chan immediately replied, "Hold on. We have to put everything back the way it was, don't you see? If someone comes by tomorrow and notices, we'll all be screwed. Wait a bit. Let's finish tidying up. Stick the incense stick back into the incense holder." With that, Chan stuffed the cloth pouch into his pants pocket and used his hand to sweep the scattered incense ash back into the bowl. Then Chan reinserted all the incense sticks he had pulled out earlier. Carefully, he brushed dust-wiped rim of incense bowl erased any traces. Just as Chan placed the incense bowl back in its original position, whether it was because he had touched something or due to some other force, Mr. Nam's ancestral photo suddenly and unexpectedly, he fell face down onto the altar table with a loud thud. Chan quickly pulled his hand back. As for Lan, terrified, startled to point of almost wetting himself, hearing the thunder rumble, accompanied by the wind starting to blow fiercely. The wind rushed into the house. He swallowed hard. Chan stiffened his voice. "It's just the wind." Chan reached out to turn the memorial photo back over. Meanwhile, Lan turned his head toward the left side of the wall where there was a window, looking outside of the house toward the back where the graves bury his father and son to rest. The sound just now was exactly the sound of the window. For some reason, it had flung open wide and unnaturally. A flash of blinding lightning lit up the entire house. In the dark night, right as the lightning flashed, Lan turned his eyes toward the window. Standing outside the window was Mr. Nam. Mr. Nam was gripping wooden window bars with both hands, his eyes wide open, staring intensely in Lan's direction. The lightning was gone. Lan lit his flashlight toward the window, but Mr. Nam was no longer there. Even though, however, things didn't stop there. Standing in front of the altar, Chan was shaking, his mouth wide open, stammering, unable to form words. Returned Nam's memorial photo, returns original position. Lightning flashed continuously. The light from the lightning cast onto the direction of the altar. Chan was terrified and didn't dare to blink. His limbs trembled, his whole body frozen stiff as he looked at the altar photo. Unlike before, Mr. Nam used to have a gloomy gaze and a sorrowful face. But now, in the photo, his eyes were wide open, staring at the two audacious young men who dared to defy him. On top of that, his mouth was smiling, a terrifying and horrifying smile beyond description. Behind Chan and Lan near the entrance door, something had just glided past the front of the house. A chilling laughter also began to echo, growing one together. "My gold is your gold." Chan and Lan looked at each other with the same terrified expression. Both shouted in unison, "Go!" Then, with all the courage they could muster, they gathered all their strength, turned around, and ran as fast as they could out of Naham's house. At this time, it started to rain. He was breathing heavily after the intense workout, trying to catch his breath. Clap, clap. Kevin! It was midnight. Storm made the door. The door of the small room was slightly shaky. Luong got out of bed, reached for the palm leaf hat had been woven from palm fronds, put it on his head, then opened the room door and stepped outside. Per the instructions given by Hunan, the Luong walked through the rain toward the back hall. In the pouring rain, before the Phuong Bai, Luong's eyes flickered the dim light of a candle. In sound of downpour, the Luong still hear sound of wooden fish drum and chanting of great elder Venerable Phuong Tam, standing under the eaves at the back hall. Tay Luong remained silent so as not to disturb the great elder. The sound of the wooden fish stopped. Sitting with his back to Master Leon, yet the great elder Venerable Phuong Tam suddenly spoke up. Lay devotee Luong has truly arrived, just as I finished reciting a sutra. Please come inside. Lay devotee, indeed it's raining heavily outside. With both hands pressed before his chest, Master Leon bowed his head, then took his hat, stepped into the back hall. This hat had been placed in the room by Hunan. After retrieving, he used it to carry white porridge. The master is a true monk, worthy of reverence, able to foresee celestial signs. I came here to return the hat to you, master, to avoid rain. Looking at Master Leon, the wise elder monk gently stroked his long silver beard, his eyes shining with kindness and compassion. The abbot of Tram Pagoda extended his hand, inviting Master Leon to sit down. People come and go. Only karmic connections remain eternal. Master Leon, do you think this saying is true? Time and again, once more, these words, spoken by the venerable elder monk Phuong Tam, deeply impressed Master Leon. It seemed that all his thoughts, worries, and troubles were fully understood by the abbot of this Tram Pagoda. Master Leon slowly sat down, bowed his head, and replied, Yes, that is indeed true. The venerable elder, the elder monk, smiled gently and continued, That is why you have come here, led by faith. I do not dare to claim to be a true monk, even if not dare to presume to know heaven's will. But based on my own feelings, I truly admire Master Long Ti. Your hands have truly saved many lives. Not only that, indeed your hands also carry warmth, and that kind heart also brings comfort and peace to the souls of the departed. Having lived nearly 100 years in this world, this is the first time I have met someone as admirable and remarkable, Master T. My cultivation wasn't in vain. I only regret one thing. Absolutely. You can save others, Master T, but you cannot save yourself. It is a real pity. Truly, indeed, a pity. Master Leon, upon hearing this, could only bow his head in respect before the great elder monk, just as Master Leon had thought. This great elder monk seemed capable of see through your inner self. No. His words, in every phrase and sentence, conveyed an incredibly profound and truly meaningful meaning. Thank you, Master. You have truly understood. Perhaps you almost already knew everything that happened today. Master Leon was lucky to meet you and to pour out all his pleasure. The great elder monk, Phuong Tam, nodded, then gently replied, I have been waiting for layman Luong Ti here. Outside, the rain was falling heavily and the wind blew, making the branches and flowers sway. Sitting across from the great master, the abbot of Tram Pagoda for many years, since the last time he met Master Cook, the military advisor. This was the first time Master Leon opened up completely about all the sorrow, pain, and regret over something he had done in the past, a long time ago, involving someone whom he had only met recently. That he had now. The later it got into the night, the heavier the rain became, pouring down like a flood. The rain felt like a shared sorrow for the loss and pain of the 65-year-old man as quiet tears began to fall. Tears down his weathered, time-worn face, etched with hardship. In front of the great elder monk, Master Leon felt a deep sense of familiarity. The venerable Phuong Tam statue Honu, Master Hook, worry, love for his disciple. Carefully listening to Master Leon's story, the abbot of Tram Pagoda felt a sharp pain in his heart. I was in pain. The great elder monk raised one hand to his chest, closed his eyes, gently bowed his head, and softly chanted, Amitabha Buddha. Just hearing those words was enough to make one feel a deep sorrow. For decades, Patron Long Ti had truly endured many hardships, Please stay here for a while. Perhaps the beautiful scenery here will help ease the burden in your heart. Master Leon expressed his gratitude to the great elder monk. This karmic connection came at just the right time. He took from his robe pocket a fava bean wrapped in a piece of red cloth and placed it in front of the great elder monk, Quang Tam. Mr. Leon, he then said, "This is a fava bean. At the moment, this is the most valuable thing I have with me. I hope that you, venerable master, will accept it as a token of my heartfelt gratitude. It is my way of expressing thanks for the temple's life-saving grace." Although Master Leon said this was just a fava bean, the great elder monk Quang Tam saw the bean. Although it resembled a fava bean in shape, it was large and had a golden, metallic sheen, not the usual green color of a regular bean. The great elder monk replied with a calm voice, "Layperson Luang Ti, those who leave home to cultivate path and save others do not seek gratitude or reward. You say this is a bean, layperson, but to me it looks more like gold. Something so precious. Forgive me, but I cannot accept it." Master Leon smiled and continued, "Venerable master, truly this is just a fava bean, but not an ordinary one. This particular bean was taken from a bean plant on the summit of Ngok Long Mountain, where it grew with the true essence of the Buddha's image, enduring storms and tempests regardless of wind. Rain nor sun, it never withered. My master was a cultivator of the way connected to this bean plant. It took 3 years before he could bring it back to be planted at the peaceful abode in White Crane Mountain. When the bean bore fruit, the seeds inside the pod were naturally golden in color. They looked like gold, but were definitely not gold. Earlier, when you came to my room, examine my illness, the bean began to glow. I realized that heaven, earth, and man all were connected by fate. It was heaven's will that this place be chosen. Land lucky, kind people, and virtuous with thriving energy lasting over 3,000 years. It wasn't Master Leon's intention, but rather the intuition of the bean that wished to stay here, to sprout and grow. Master, please, try just holding the bean and see. The venerable elder monk Quang Tam nodded, then took the bean, placed it into his hands. Right before the elder monk's eyes, the broad bean immediately radiated a golden aura with a shimmering, radiant, and captivating presence. Master Leon beamed happily with a bright smile. "Master, you've seen it yourself. This bond. Could you really bear to turn it away? Blessed land, harmony among people, and a golden glowing bean. This is truly the will of heaven. I sincerely hope you will accept this golden bean." He placed the bean into a small piece of cloth and carefully wrapped it up with both hands pressed together at his chest. Monk Quang Tam gently bowed, expressing gratitude to Master Leon. "Amitabha Buddha, if that is the case, then the temple humbly accepts it. Thank you for your kindness, as well as the merit and virtue of benefactor Luong. Temple will take great care of the golden bean, so that one day it may bloom and bear fruit. Amitabha Buddha." Master Leon was overjoyed, bowed in return, and expressed his gratitude to elder monk Quang Tam. Suddenly, a sudden headache caused Master Leon faint on the way up. The pain struck hard. Master Leon bent over, hitting his head ground. Both hands held his head. In agony, Master Leon cried out, "It hurts so much. It's literally happening again. Already." Seeing Master Leon writhing in pain, the elder monk hurried over to support Master Leon to help him sit up. Elder monk Quang Tam sat directly in front of Master Leon, placing one hand in the center of Master Leon's chest. The other hand of the elder monk from Tram Temple rested on his forehead. While Master Leon was being supported to keep from collapsing, he also used his inner energy technique to examine the cause of this sudden headache. This suddenness originates from closing his eyes. The elder monk quietly chanted sutras while focusing all his mental strength. With the help of the head monk of Tram Pagoda, Master Leon's headache had subsided. At this point, Master Leon was able to sit up steadily on his own until he opened his eyes. Master Leon no longer felt the pain as he did before. The elder monk also lowered his hands. Master Leon was about to say something when the elder monk raised his hand to stop him and said, "Master Luang Ti, don't say anything more. I have discovered the deeper cause of this headache. It is because in the past you went against the will of heaven. This action might not have been considered defying heaven. However, when you altered life and death, not just your own, but the fate of many others, then even if heaven forgives, the earth will not easily tolerate it. Retribution. It is punishment from the underworld. Master, Leon replied. Elder monk Quang Tam nodded. That's right, as long as you still remember that part of your memory. The pain will continue to torment you. That is the punishment from the underworld. If it weren't for the protection of the heavenly light Liang, you would have literally died a long time ago. After a brief moment's silence, seeing Master Leon, elder monk gently turned his head toward the Buddha statue and put his hands together in prayer, the elder monk said, I understand now. Heaven's will is for me to help Master Liang, Amitabha Buddha. Yes, let us follow the will of heaven. Master Liang, you have helped many people. This time, let me help you. May blessings be with you on the path. Please proceed ahead, Master. Amitabha with caution. Buddha. After offering his praise, the elder monk stood up. Guangxin walked toward the Buddha statue. Now, rear hall. He knelt, bowed 3 times. After that, the elder monk stepped up to the lotus pedestal, reached into the palm of the Buddha statue, and took out something, handing it to Master Leon, who was sitting. The elder monk opened his palm, revealing a bead, a green gem, shimmering like a drop of water. Master Leon had seen many treasures before, yet this was the first time he had encountered a gem so strange. Looking inside, it seemed the gem contained something that rippled and moved like water, radiating like smoke. At that moment, Master Leon asked, Venerable Master, what is this gem? The venerable elder monk replied, This is neither a gem nor a stone but a Buddha's tear. Perhaps you are not aware, but in the Tramsan mountain lies a cave called Long Tien Cave. Inside Long Tien Cave there is a temple known as the Cave Temple. Additionally, Long Tien Cave has 2 paths leading up and down, which people often liken to path to heaven and path to the underworld. At the right intersection of these 2 paths, there is an ancient Buddha statue. It is believed that the statue existed even before the ancients built the entire Tram Temple complex. This Buddha's tear was taken from that ancient Buddha statue. 2 years ago, I dreamed of the Buddha in my sleep. The Buddha looked at me and smiled. He said nothing, but gently blinked. I saw a drop of water fell on the corner of his eye, sir. When I woke up, I was in Long Tien Cave to pay my respects. And then this Buddha's tear truly fell before me from his eye of the Buddha statue. Master Leon couldn't help but be astonished. However, Tramsan Temple is a sacred place where spiritual treasures and rare relics appear, which is understandable. Not to mention that the great elder monk Quang Tam is a virtuous and wise practitioner. The fact that the master who presides over Tram Temple dreamed of the Buddha and was blessed by him with the Buddha's relic is truly well deserved. Master Leon then said, This treasure is truly extraordinary. Master Leon is truly fortunate to have the chance to witness the Buddha's relic. The great elder monk Quang Tam smiled. This Buddha relic is meant for Patron Luang Ti. Master Leon was stunned by the elder's words. Elder monk Quang Tam and quickly waved his hand. Master Leon shook his head and denied. How can that be? Master, you must be testing me. I am fortunate to have a connection with Tram Pagoda, luckier to be saved by the great elder monk. That alone is already a great blessing for Master Leon. 1,000 times dare not boast of the treasure of. If you believe I have any ill intentions, I will leave this place immediately. The great elder monk gently continued. Layman Long, please remain calm, just like the golden soybean. This Buddha's tear also possesses its own spiritual essence. This is not a treasure of Tram Pagoda, nor is it something I can claim ownership of. Own, make private. That's why 2 years I have placed the Buddha's tear in Buddha's hand. In the rear hall, every day I come here to chant sutras and recite Buddha. Buddha's tear symbolizes the tear shed by the Buddha for the suffering and hardships endured by the world. This Buddha's tear purifies all the dark energies of the underworld lurking, tormenting and causing you, benefactor Luong, to suffer from severe headaches, dying, reviving. Fate and divine will have guided you here. That is why I say the Buddha's tear is meant for you. So we say that Buddhist law is for almsgiving. The path you are literally taking is still not at its end. There are still many people who need your help, and to connect karmic ties with you is also a blessing for this temple. Please do not refuse, Amitabha Buddha. In that moment, Master Leon slightly remembered the wise words of Master Cook. Master Leon, people come and go. Only karmic affinity truly still remains. Earthly affinity, human affinity, all originate from a single word. Affinity. Affinity begets more. Affinity is like a young sapling being nurtured. The tree will grow, bearing fragrant flowers, sweet fruits, and cool shade, repaying the affinity with the one who planted it. And then, from that single sapling, many other saplings will grow. Even if the tree dies, its affinity still continues to exist far into the future, when the one who sows the affinity is the one who ends it. Embrace that affinity in order to continue sowing affinity. I say this, do you literally understand? She softly murmured. To sow affinity is also to complete affinity. I understand now, Master. Master Leon remained silent, saying nothing. The venerable elder monk Quang Tam gently called out, Layman Luong, is there still perhaps a bit of something troubling you? Look. The venerable monk Quang Tam looked Master Leon and suddenly knelt down, bowing his head in reverence. Truly, Master Tam, for the kindness from the temple, I humbly accept it. The venerable elder monk Quang Tam smiled kindly, stroking his long white beard. The venerable elder monk joined his hands and bowed. Master Leon sat in front of the Buddha statue. The venerable elder monk said, Layman Luong dares defy the will of heaven. To alter life and death is far too many people, and often one cannot preserve their life, but heaven is merciful since the things the donor has done. Also, it is indeed only right that you should have lost all memories related to those events. However, as a result, though heaven wished to spare you, the earth did not agree, resulting in this outcome. Though you live, you still have to literally endure punishment. Torment caused underworld. It will become a fate worse than death, with unbearable pain, both physically and spiritually. When I used Buddhist power to cleanse the punishment of the underworld to the poet, synonymous, that all memories related to what I call defying the heavens would be erased. You would no longer remember anything about the events that happened around 2 years ago. 2 years ago, the owner likely also have already realized this, haven't you? Master Leon nodded and replied, Master Quang Tam, yes, that is absolutely correct. Lately, I've started to have signs of gradually losing my memory, but it's not completely gone. Those memories became jumbled. Whenever I try to recall and piece them back together, a severe splitting headache suddenly strikes. The headaches have been happening more and more often, and each time is worse than the last. I've also been thinking a little about this issue, that before returning to Vietnam, I had used the celestial mechanism board to change fate of many people. Those who came back to life after dying couldn't remember anything that had happened before regarding the incident. The venerable monk Quang Tam nodded frankly. I truly understand now, Benefactor Luong. Hearing your story, I am reminded. I feel more admiration for your compassionate, tolerant heart, Benefactor. To save others and help the world, you were willing to risk your own life. The karmic bond, your bond with this sacred ground, this Buddha power is meant for you. Allow me to contribute a bit my strength to your path of saving and helping others. He clasped his hands and bowed his head. Master Leon softly replied, Many thanks, Master Quang Tam. Standing behind Master Leon, he placed his left palm on the crown of Master Leon's head, while his other hand was raised in front of his chest. The venerable monk Quang Tam gave instructions before channeling his power. Benefactor Luong, I have used my spiritual cultivation to awaken all of your chaotic memories within you, Benefactor. It will be extremely painful, and this will also be the last time you remember and see those memories. The power of the Buddha will erase all memories related to the defiance of heaven. Without memories, there will be no pain, and the soul will be at peace. It will be as if you simply woke up from a dream long. With that, the great elder monk furrowed his brows, pressed his hand down a bit more firmly, and closed his eyes. The head monk of Tram Temple maintained his posture, one hand placed before his chest, His mouth was softly chanting a gentle scripture. As the great elder monk began to chant the scripture, Master Leon immediately felt his body slowly heating up, as if engulfed in flames, especially at the crown of his head. Master Leon sat eyes shut, hands together, raised before his chest, with sincere devotion. In his mind, Master Leon now felt as if there was a stream flowing with images and voices of the people from Huong, Kim Gyang, and Kim Son, 5 guardian spirits fighting in a life and death war. There was also the way of the fish, with horrifying scenes of bloodshed, bodies lying scattered across the grass by the banks of the Chaojiang River, the army of evil spirits, and even the figure of Kuvan, literally laughing. Pain! My head hurts. My head hurts so much. Really, very, just like the words of the great elder monk. When all the memories from the 2 years, when all the memories of 2 years come back, Master Leon's China is inspired again. It was when Master Leon had to endure a terrible headache. The great elder monk Quang Tam continued chanting sutras, using his spiritual power to protect physical body, and the mind and body of Master Leon remained stable. Master Leon's limit of endurance had reached its peak. He tilted his head back toward the ceiling, his eyes wide open in surprise, and shouted loudly. At that very moment, the great elder monk Quang Tam stopped chanting and gathered Buddha's power in his hands. The great elder monk released his hands, letting the Buddha's power fall, softly chanting, Amitabha Buddha, may all beings be delivered. Layman Luong, receive this stronghold indeed. After the Buddha's power left the hands of the great elder monk Quang Tam, before it could fall, it dissolved into water. Within the Buddha's power, it transformed into a mist of blue hue, enveloping Master Leon's entire body. Tiny droplets like powdered rain glistened with a soft blue hue, gently, lightly touching his face. Master Leon gradually lost consciousness due to the tormenting headache that he was suffering from. As elder monk Quang Tam finished speaking, Tam was not wrong. The Buddha's power had cleansed all the accumulated negative energy within Master Leon's body. Wherever the sacred water fell, Master Leon absorbed it completely. His complexion immediately began to improve. His eyes, which had just been rolled back, showing only the whites, had now returned to normal. A normal state. Right in the center of the glabella, there was a black spot gathering. That spot gradually grew larger over time. That was the obstruction of energy, the cause of the headaches that occurred. This was also the moment when the venerable elder monk Quang Tam completed final part of task. He took out a sewing needle made of gold that he had prepared in advance and stood in front of Master Leon. The respected elder monk Quang Tam used his left hand to hold Master Leon's head and his right hand to decisively insert the golden needle right into the center of the glabella, literally, where the obstructed energy was accumulating. Immediately after the golden needle pierced the glabella area, a thick grayish-black smoke drifted out and then vanished. Only when the glabella was free of the blocked energy, single drop of red blood remaining, the respected elder monk Quang Tam finally withdrew the needle, wiped away the blood, and at the same time reached out to support Master Leon. Just as Master Leon's entire body collapsed onto the altar, lay down, his eyes half open, his lips moved slightly, but no words came out. The venerable elder monk Quang Tam smiled. Tam smiled. Master Luong, everything? Rest now. Get a little sleep. When you wake up, you'll feel a little bit better. Master Leon slowly closed his eyes. Outside, the rain had eased, and the wind had stopped, leaving only the soft patter of raindrops falling from the tiled roof, down to the eaves behind the main hall. The venerable elder monk Quang Tam wiped the sweat from his face, put his palms together, and knelt down to bow in reverence before the statue of Amitabha Buddha. Buddha. At last, the Buddha's power has been used for the right person. Thank you, Buddha. May all the suffering be relieved. Amitabha Buddha. Master. Oh, are you all right? At that moment, Hunan rushed into the back, whole face worry, panting heavily. Who? Nan asked as the venerable elder monk Quang Tam turned to look, then smiled and replied, I'm fine. Why aren't you asleep yet? What are you doing running over here? What are you doing? Hu Nan stepped inside and saw Master Leon was lying there. Hu Nan immediately replied, Please forgive me, Master. I heard something. Loud screams from the back. Fearing the monk, my mother had an accident, so I rushed here. Master, what happened to this layman? Why is he sleeping here? The elder monk Quang Tam replied. He saw it was raining heavily, so he went out to me a hat. I just helped him completely heal, cure headaches completely. Hu Nan son, you arrived at just the right time. Please take Master Leon. Come back to your room and rest, please. Hu Nan bowed his head and replied respectfully, Yes, Master. Hu Nan carried Master Leon back to his own sleeping quarters, watching the two figures from behind. The elder monk Quang Tam gently said, Hu Nan truly has a connection with this benefactor. If only Master Leon would agree to stay here for a while, that would be wonderful. It seems things like this are hard to go the way. We sincerely hope and earnestly desire that our wishes and dreams come true, as we have always imagined and aspired for them to be. He stepped out onto the veranda behind the main hall. The rain had already stopped by then. Looking up at night sky, there was neither moon nor stars, completely dark. Suddenly, a shooting star streaked across the sky, heading southwest. The star glowed a deep red for a brief moment before it disappeared. Following the direction of the shooting star with his eyes, the gaze of the venerable elder monk Quang Tam slightly furrowed. In his heart, the elder monk felt a sense of unease. Something was about to happen, because a red shooting star is an ominous sign carrying bad omens. He clasped his hands together and softly chanted, Amitabha Buddha, all is the will of heaven. Or perhaps today the celestial signs are somewhat disturbed. Sky and earth are gloomy, weather erratic. The ominous star appeared and vanished in an instant, signaling that something unfortunate is about to unfold very close by. From Tramson Pagoda, view the sky in the southwest direction, brewing with storms and thunder. A cold wind gently blew through, causing the venerable monk Quang Tam to cough. With a few raspy sounds, he turned back inside, into the back hall. It was past midnight, yet the venerable monk Quang Tam continued to sit, striking the wooden fish and chanting sutras before the statue of the Buddha. The sound of the wooden fish echoed through the quiet night. The head monk of Tram Pagoda chanted in meditation and chanting sutras until, as dawn broke, the first rays of sunlight appeared, casting a gentle glow over the landscape. The cheerful chirping of birds moved scenes, gently waking Master Leon from a peaceful sleep. He slowly opened his eyes, not sitting up right away. Master Leon lay there, taking in the scent of ancient flowers and the fresh air wafting gently through the window slit. Reaching the small bed where Master Leon lay, resting peacefully and calmly. Hearing the birdsong, Master Leon felt his heart become light, relaxed and at ease. Very comfy, gazed at the blanket draped across his chest. Master Leon remembered last night he had gone to meet the great elder monk Quang Tam, had a talk to great elder monk. But just after the conversation, Master Leon found lying in the bed again. Everything felt like a dream, literally. So he got out of bed and opened the door to his room. Outside, the sun was beginning to shine. On the leaves of the flowering trees, there were still traces of morning dew. The sound of someone sweeping the yard echoed, growing closer with each passing moment. A few seconds later, Hu Nan appeared. Seeing Master Leon, the ring smiled and greeted. Master Leon, benefactor, already woken up? Was it because I was sweeping the yard that I woke you up? Master Leon smiled and replied, It's not that. Last night I was having a very good sleep. I dreamed that I was sitting there talking with Master Quang Tam. When I woke up, it was already morning. Hu Nan looked a bit surprised, then scratched his head and said, A dream? It was probably because of the headache that you passed out, Master Leon, and you forgot. It wasn't a dream at all. You really did go last night to the back hall to see Master Quang Tam. The two of you talked till past midnight. Then I suddenly heard a loud scream. I rushed to the back hall. When I got there, I saw you lying asleep on the floor. Master was sitting in front of the Buddha statue, bowing in prayer. When I asked, Master said he had just treated and completely cured your headache. Sir, Master asked me to take you back to your room. I was the one who carried you back here. Well, it's just past 6 in the morning. Master Leon, sir. Let me get some water and a towel so you can wash your face. Master Leon quickly waved hand. Dead. Who? None. No need to do this. Do that. Just show me where to get the water. I want to do it myself. You just go ahead with your work. I'll go. Thank you. Hunan smiled. That's fine too. Then please, Master Leon, sir, follow me this way. Please watch your step. It rained heavily last night, so the path is quite slippery. There, following Hunan to the water jar, beneath the magnolia tree in the backyard of the temple. Looking at magnolia tree, Master Leon guessed that this tree indeed must be hundreds of years old. Its wide canopy shaded an entire section of the garden. Though it was already past August, the tree still carried a faint fragrance, rich and deep, a distinctive scent that only this flower species has the right to possess. The fragrance was truly pleasant. Unexpectedly, even this time of year, you can still enjoy the scent of the golden magnolia. Hunan scooped water for Leon Master. Leon looked up at the tree canopy. Hunan smiled. Yes, it's true that it is. Normally, the magnolia begins to bud in March and blooms fully in June and July. By around August, there are fewer flowers, but the magnolia tree at Tran Pagoda continues, blooming until the end of September. Right now, if you look, there are still blossoms on the tree. Although not many, the flowers are very large. Just one bloom is enough to fill this entire garden area with a rich and captivating fragrance. After washing face, Master Leon asked, where is Master Quang Tam now? Where is the father now? Hunan replied, last night, Master was chanting sutras in the rear hall until this morning. Now, Master is in the main hall. It's been a long time since I last saw Master stay awake all night. This year, Master is already 99 years old, and I'm very worried about him. Hearing this, Master Leon gently bowed his head in thanks. Hunan, could you kindly lead the way for me to the main hall? I would like to meet Master Quang Tam. Master, I'm truly fortunate to have the chance to come to Tran Pagoda. Sorry, this part is wrong. Hunan carefully led Master Leon toward the main hall. In spacious courtyard in front of main hall, Venerable Elder Monk Quang Tam was standing there, looking up, gently opening his palm toward a high tree branch. A small bird fluttered its wings and swooped down, landing in the palm of the elder monk. Advertising and marketing. Hearing footsteps behind him, the elder Monk Quang Tam gently raised his hand to let the little bird fly away. Then he turned to look at Hunan, carrying Master Leon on his back, and smiled. The elder monk, he said to Luong, did the master sleep well last night? Not understanding, Nan put his hands together and bowed his head. Master, you didn't sleep at all last night. Are you all right? The monk Luong also put his hands together and replied to the question. The great elder truly is deeply grateful for Master Quang Tam's great kindness. From Master, I, Luong, no longer feel headaches anymore. Master Quang Tam, you have worked so hard for me. The great elder monk Quang Tam said to Hunan. Hunan, please, you go. Finish the unfinished work. I want to talk. Talk to Luong for a bit. Health is very good. Thank you for your concern. About me? A little bit. Hunan, yes, master, then bowed his head. Quang Tam, master, looked at the Luong, then walked away. Master Quang Tam looked at the Luong and gently nodded. Master Luong, I need to take a walk for a bit. Is that all right? The Luong respectfully replied. Of course. Master Quang Tam led the way. The outer area of Tran Pagoda on Tran Mountain is a complex consisting of 3 main temples, Tran Pagoda, Hang Pagoda, and Vo Vi Pagoda. Following footsteps of Monk Quang Tam, the Luong walked to the left, about 500 meters from the main temple. That was Vo Vi Pagoda. Vo Vi Pagoda is an ancient Jialam temple, which according to legend was built in the year 968 by General Tran Van Tang, a military general who became a monk. The initial foundation underwent several relocations, from the foot of the mountain to halfway up the slope, until the year 15, when it was finally moved to the mountaintop as it stands today, and was named Phuong Bai. Master Leon, I want to climb the mountain, maybe. Will the owner, the venerable elder monk Quang Tam, asked Master Leon. Leon, without hesitation, immediately replied, Yes, absolutely, he said with a gentle smile. The venerable elder monk Quang Tam led the way. Leon followed closely behind. There were several dozen stone steps at the beginning. There was a resting spot at this point. Leon couldn't help but be surprised by endurance and vitality of elder monk Quang Tam. Although he was already 99 years old this year, watching the abbot of Tran Pagoda climb each stone step without even a drop of sweat, the more I walked, the more my face became pale. His steps grew increasingly light and graceful, so effortless that it left Master Leon even more impressed. During a rest stop, the Luong noticed a large stone stele on the left side. He walked closer to the stele. On it, a poem was engraved. The Luong softly read aloud. Perched on the mountain slope, the boat drifts lazily past several pagodas. Who is the owner, I ask? Is it for sale? I humbly request to buy it. Surprisingly, not only was Luong the owner, but he could also read classical Nom script. This is a poem inscribed at the temple. Phuong Bai Temple by General Tran Van Tung. The guide says there are about 100 more stone steps to reach it. Of the mountain. At the summit, there is the Ngin Phong Pavilion. Let's go there together. The venerable elder monk, Quang Tam, appeared extremely excited. Upon hearing the Luong recite the poem engraved on the stone stele, they continued climbing another 100 stone steps. Along the winding path to the mountain peak were 2 rows of frangipani trees. Though it wasn't yet blooming season, the ancient moss-covered scenery along the path leading to Phuong Bai Temple truly made one feel deeply moved. This land carries the essence of an ancient Zen sanctuary. At last, the venerable elder monk Quang Tam also led the Luong to Ngin Phong Tower. Master Quang Tam smiled. Atop this Ngin Phong Pavilion is a unique structure shaped like the Bagua. Master Luong, from here you can admire the entire scenic landscape of Tram Mountain. You can see the vast rice fields stretching along the banks of the Jai River. Among mountain caves, none compared to Phuong Bai. The Buddhist disciple Tui once said, this place, Zen masters and Taoist priests, here there's a Zen bamboo grove, a fairyland. The serene and secluded scenery is preserved and kept. Standing atop the Ngin Phong Pavilion, one can cast their gaze across the entire Truong Mai district. The venerable elder monk Quang Tam recited 2 verses by General Tran Van Tung at his poem, written during a return visit to Phuong Bai Temple. The Luong, after hearing the 2 verses, clasped his hands and bowed his head to the landscape, exclaiming with admiration, Beautiful poetry. Everything here is both real and illusory, tangible yet profoundly intangible. Truly, today has indeed been an eye-opening experience. The venerable elder monk Quang Tam said, Luong, my friend, there are things we may not remember, but they will be passed down through generations. To sow a karmic connection is also to fulfill one. Only karmic affinity endures forever. Words filled with profound meaning. The words of the venerable elder monk Quang Tam moved Master Leon, filling him with gratitude, although he could no longer remember the events that had occurred during the 2 years prior at Huang Kim Jiang. Nevertheless, deep within the Luong's heart, there remained a lingering attachment, a sense of peace and lightness. It felt as though he had completed an important task, meeting a long-held wish that had remained unfinished for a very long time. The Luong knelt and bowed head before the monk, Quang Tam. Master Quang Tam, the abbot of Tram Temple, helped the Luong to his feet and took out a small cloth pouch fluttering with a long white beard. The wise elder monk gently said, This is tea grown on the peak of Tram Mountain. Since you've come all this way, you must not miss chance to enjoy a cup of tea, discuss the scenery, and recite poetry. Luong, you host, the water is over there. Come brew tea with me and enjoy the moment. A rare meeting once in 100 years is hard to come by. For this monk, my life of cultivation has reached fulfillment. Thank you, Tao. Laughter. The sound of joyful laughter fills the spacious room. The hearty laughter of the venerable elder monk Quang Tam echoed through the ancient Gia Lam temple. Indeed, this scenery, this person, this fateful encounter, who knows when, perhaps? Don't know when to see you again. Back in mainland China, in Huang Kim Giang, at the Ban Guyat grave, a Luan is pulling out the wild grass growing around the grave, right beneath a lush guava tree heavy with fruit. Nearby, on the gravestone, a line is engraved. This is the grave of beloved mother and daughter, Nung Ting and Nung Ki, the final resting place of these cherished individuals. Thank you for listening. Farewell to all of you, and we look forward to seeing you again in the upcoming, exciting next episode of this story.